I'm Jonah, a contestant on Destination X. You're watching the Hollywood Junket.
Awesome! Thank you. You're a natural. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So we saw that some people might think that Kim was ultimately the reason you went into the map room. Um, did she have any parting words for you after you left the bus? Did you get to speak with her a little bit or kind of walk us through how that went?
We didn't really get to talk a whole lot. We did talk about the fact that she put me in there before. Whoop, sorry. We did talk about the fact that she put me in there before I ended up getting eliminated, and I told her like, I understand like why you did it. I didn't want there to be like I didn't want to be like on bad terms when I left the bus. So we did talk about it, and actually since then we've talked a few times on Instagram, and like there's no hard feelings. Like I get it.
No, absolutely. I think that's the best attitude to have is just to kind of, keep those connections because you never know where it can lead. I think I'm a little bit biased, but you truly, your light shined throughout the whole, 2 episodes you were on. And I just want to tell you, keep that positive energy up because it doesn't go unnoticed. What was it like on the bus? Like we only see what we see, right? So behind closed doors, how did you guys kind of keep some of those clues to yourselves without other contestants kind of finding out? Like, did you kind of, just hold it in the whole time or walk us through what that was like?
Right, it's a stressful environment because there is no privacy, and like if you're whispering to someone, everyone can see that you're doing that. So like they'll know who you're talking to. There were very few opportunities to have private conversations with people. For my part, I wasn't hiding anything. If someone came to me and wanted to know what I thought, I would be honest with them and be like, "This is what I think. This is what I know." Luckily I kind of avoided having to be too secretive. If I had ended up in an alliance with someone, if someone had come to me that wasn't part of that, I would have just been like, "Hey, I am working with this person. I can't tell you what I know because they're trusting me." But that never happened. So I honestly, for me, it was more about just being in that environment and having to navigate it and find my own path, which was difficult and stressful. Yeah.
Right. No, understandably so. Absolutely. Do you have a favorite memory on the bus?
Oh, so I have so many. I have a vivid memory of us. You don't see this at all, but we were playing a card game at one point. 'Cause, we spent hours and hours on that bus, and Biggie is like one of the funniest people ever. And I was crying laughing, like I was laughing so hard, and like everyone was cracking jokes, and it was like this little step away from the game for a little bit where we were playing a game, but it was a different game. So it was like low stakes, nothing. We're able to just hang out, and I vividly remember it because it was like I was so stressed, and then all of a sudden I'm gut laughing because like a genuine moment of connection with everyone.
Yeah, you have to have those moments of laughter, right? To ease the
Yeah.
stress. Um, some might say that Allie kind of threw you off right before you went into the map room. After rewatching the episode, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was definitely surprised to find out that she like lied to me. I didn't expect that at all. You don't see a whole lot of us interacting on the bus, but I did really trust her and I was pretty close with her at that point. So I was surprised. Again, I'm not like mad at her. Actually we're pretty good friends, I would say. We still talk. And I just was shocked. I was like, man, I didn't expect that at all. I wasn't expecting deceit. It didn't make a lot of sense to me because I thought for sure like I would be like a good ally to have. I thought I had made that clear, but I understand also I'm a little bit of a liability because I am very honest and very straightforward, and this is a game that kind of relies on deceit in a lot of ways, and that's not something I'm good at.
Um, Tell us about your confidence on the show. Were you very confident throughout? Were there moments? Speak a little bit about your vulnerability and how that kind of helped you grow or change throughout the episodes on the show.
Yeah, I mean, I was always confident in who I was, and I knew what I wanted to do, which was be myself. I didn't want to try and play the game outside of my values. So I was confident in what I was going to do as a player. I was not confident in my place in the game. I felt like, especially being the first season of a show, I was really trying to carve my own way, and I was seeing how the game was played, and I was like, but how do I win this? What path is there for me as someone who is going to be open and honest? That was tough. That was really tough. And that's where I found myself to be really shaky and where you can see my nervousness is because how do you play a game like going in to move the bells or whatever? You're immediately put in a position where you have to target someone else. You have to save yourself. And that is really hard for me.
Knowing what you know now, had you have stayed on, would you have played a little bit differently? I know you kind of talked about that just now, but what are some other strategies you might have tried?
Right. I think if I had stayed in, honestly, I think I probably would have ended up working with Rick because he was also kind of alone at the end of that episode. He was being ostracized in a lot of ways, and I still liked Rick. I mean, I don't know if I trusted him fully, but like I believed that at the very least he wasn't being as deceitful as some people were saying. And I saw someone else who was alone in the game, and I was also feeling a bit isolated. So I was like, there's a chance here that we could have ended up working together. I didn't make it that far to see if that's what I would have actually done, but I was thinking about it. I was like, well, maybe he could be a potential ally to get through this game with. Yeah.
Right. No, absolutely. And what other game shows would you like to be on? Is there one like in the back of your mind? You're like, oh my gosh, I have to be on that one, or TV
Uh,
shows? Let us know.
yeah. Honestly, I would try anything. I would do my best in just about any game. I think this was a particularly hard one for someone like me, so maybe a game that has more options to not have to be a backstabber to win. That would be great. I would love to do like the Amazing Race. That's something I've always dreamed of doing. Yeah.
I think you'd be really good on trivia shows too. Like you would kill that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, also, I noticed like after you got off the bus, you talked a little bit with the host, Jeffrey. Did you guys get to kind of go out for a drink or a bite to eat after and converse, or was it just kind of like you kind of had a little talk with him and then left?
I just had a little talk with him, and I wish I could have gone and done something with him, but they're on a pretty tight schedule, and it was like, okay, we got to get moving because they're going to a new place or whatever. But it was really cool. I mean, I got to talk to him for like a whole hour, and we were just chatting, and yeah, he's the chillest, nicest guy. I had that's like one of the highlights of the whole experience for me was getting to chat with him.
Yeah. Okay, we have a time for I think one more question. I notice you're on BookTok. You're a
I
huge
am.
fanatic. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us where we can find you and what you have going forward.
Right. Yeah. So that's how I actually ended up on the show was through Book Talk. A casting agent found my TikTok. I talk about fantasy books mostly on my TikTok. If you just look up my name, Jonah Evarts, full name, you'll find me on there. Right now, actually, because I'm a big reader, I've also been a big writer my whole life, and I'm currently trying to get published. Trying to find a literary agent at the moment. So if any literary agents are watching this, hit me up. I'm trying my best. That's like what I'm hoping will come out of this. Fingers crossed.
Absolutely. And any parting words, Jonah? You have such a great, like I always say, light and energy. Any advice to people coming on the show in the future?
Yeah, don't be afraid to just be yourself and be honest about who you are. I think there's going to be if you are like me and you come on the show, I think that the one thing I wish I had done differently is make it very apparent to everyone like how I'm going to play the game, which is I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to deceive, and give everyone a sense of who I am and be assertive about my goals as a person. Which I didn't do. I was a lot more quiet, and I think people understood how I was playing, but I shouldn't have been afraid to express that.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to see what's next for you, Jonah. Thank you so much for being here talking with us. I know everybody was sad on the bus to see you go. There were some
Yeah.
tears. So, your presence is definitely there and it's felt. So, thank you so much. And we look
Yeah.
forward to seeing you in the future on more
Yeah.
projects.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.